What I'm going to show you now is idea which is based on Kabbalah and to do with what is famous and known in maths, the pi. Pi, the number pi spelled out as pi, pi, is a mathematical constant approximately equal to 3.14159. That is a measure of a circle's circumference to its diameter. It appears in many formulas across mathematics and physics, and some of these formulas are common use for defining to avoid the relying on the definition of the length of curve. Whatever it is, this is an important point, that the number is an irrational number, meaning that it cannot be expressed exactly as a ratio of two integrals, although functions such as 22 into 7 divided to 7 are the commonly used to approximate it. So this is really the main idea of it. And okay, you have your 3.14159, but the things are more. And this one can see in very amazing work of Braz and Brown. And this is really the opening of a very interesting site in which he really explained beautifully what is the idea of the pi, and he explains really a lot of things which have to do with the pi, especially with the numbers which appears in different way. Now, one can get it, I think, if you put Oren Evron pi, and this is really the beginning in which he refers to the beginning of creation, Bereshit bara Elokim. As just now we are going to show a bit. He brings the first verse of Genesis. In the beginning, God created heaven and earth, and explain what is behind in this verse connected with the number 3.14 pi. But definitely, as I always try to see the connection to Kabbalah. And in fact, we did with Professor Alec and Professor Arif's interesting tables about connection with Kabbalah and science, clearly dealing with people, Professor Alec and Professor Rips, which definitely both of them are in Kabbalah and in science. So what I got to show you now, really, some ideas which show connection of the pi 3.14 to this very important number, and Kabbalah definitely, which is the basis of everything. In fact, he wrote a book with Professor Ralik under the title The Bible Code and Science, the Bible Code and in connection with science. In fact, we gave the title Bible Code and Kabbalah but practically is clear connection between science and Kabbalah. So let us see now some ideas which I found connecting the pi 3.14 to Kabbalah. So let us see this one, which tells us the following. So the idea is the 3.14 is known to be the diameter in a circle with a diameter of 7 on circumference of 22. So this is exactly the idea. The circumference diameter 3.14. A circle with diameter of 7 is circumference 22. So exactly what we saw. Remember 22 to do with the 22 letters of the alphabet, which are the basis of creation, the book of formation related to Abraham, our father, explaining it. So diameter 3, 114, and 22. Let us see now definitely much more into it. As you remember, we saw that the multiplication for 22, and there's 7 and 3.14, about 22. So what is the idea? So there is a name of God which is Shaddai, the name which means God said, die enough. It means, according to Kabbalah, the work starts with a small point, round one, and it expanded, up till God said, enough, Shaddai, enough. Why? Interesting explanation, because if it will go more and more, then the clear divine providence will be clear to human, to people, and this will against the free will. So whatever it is, Shaddai is 314. 314, important number. 3 are the main 3 spheres, and then the first one is Keter crown, and then the 4. So basically you have 1 and 7, which is the root number 1, and the 3 and 4, the sphere of Chesed, Gvura, Tiferet, and Netzach Hod Yesod. So the number 314, and the idea of Shaddai will say to the word, enough, as we said in the explanation why. 22 letters of the alphabet, with which this word was created in 7 days, 7 words. In the first verse in Genesis, Bereshit bara Elokim et hashamayim, and 23 letters in this verse. 28 is the gematria of Koach. It means in this verse, God showed his strength. There is a verse in the Bible, Koach masa v'gilomo. God showed his people his strength. So when in the verse Bereshit bara, you have 28 letters, and as we see just now, which is amazing, that the first letters of Bereshit bara Elokim et hashamayim et haaretz, which are the letter Bet, Aleph, Taf, Vav, which you have here. Yeah, 5 is like 8, 6 Vav, 8, 2 Bet and Bet. So together is amazing 22, also indicating that the world was created with 22. The world was created with 22 letters. Amazing. So, here you have interesting connections to Kabbalah, to the, what we call the pi Sefer, so P-I-L-P-U, the gematria of pi, the three letters is 31, which is the two names of God, the name of mercy, which is Yud Kevavke 26, and the name of kingdom, Adnut, mastership, because this is the basis of creation, and this is 91, is the gematria of Amen, faith, the basis of the world, faith in God. So this is really the idea of these two numbers, two names, better to say, right? So what we have really more, we are going on to see in the next table. The explanations are very interesting, also based on Kabbalah. So what we see here, difficult to see, but I try to explain to you. You see here the sum of the words, I mean the numbers of the 7 words of Bereshit, of the first verse. I did not show it, but you can see it. Work out that the word Bereshit, bara Elokim et Shamayim v'Taaretz, the gematria is 2,701. Yeah, right? It means the 7 words, so again the 7 days of creation, come to 2,701. Now, what is interesting is this number, by the way, that the main numbers, 271, are important numbers. They're important numbers because those numbers, 1 to 7, are exactly the number which the spheres, the main part in the 10 spheres, which means 1 is a crown, 2 is wisdom and understanding, 7, the 7 low spheres from loving kindness, chesed, strength, and so on. So, important number 10. Based on this, interesting, the 2,071 basic have these numbers. Okay? Numbers are very important, spheres are very important, what Aristotle spoke about numbers, yeah. So, interesting, 2 and 7, 1 is 10, definitely, yeah. Again, the 10 spheres. Also, some number 271 or 703, which is Shabbos, but we're not going to it. It'll be too complicated. Then, let us see more what you have here. By the way, it's interesting to note that according to Tzadok HaKohen, we know that Sarah, our mother, lived for 127 years. So Tzadok said indicates that her years were full and meaningful, better to say, that she lived 127, which is exactly the complete 10 sphere, which are based on 1 and 2 and 7, as we saw here. Interesting. Far away from being coincidence. What more we have here? 2,701 is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 7 plus 7 plus 8, up till 73. I don't know how you call it in English, I forgot. In Hebrew, it's Torah. Yeah, when you add 1, 2, 3. So if you add 1 plus 2 plus 3 up to 73, you will come to the number 2,701. No, what is this? 73, which is 7 and 3, also 10 spheres, is the gematria of the word Chokhmah, wisdom. Yeah? And we know which the world was created. Yeah? As Isaiah said, very famous verse, Bechokhmah haaretz. With wisdom, God created earth. So, 7 and 3, Chokhmah. So, when you add those numbers, 1 and 3, you come to Chokhmah, which is basically the basis of creation, of the 7 days of creation, which is 2701. So Chokhmah and this all go together. So, as I said, in fact, there are much more in it, but if one really looks into what we did just now, yeah, and see connection between the 7 days of creation indicated in the 7 verse. Is so much more in the 7 verse to do with creation. I did almost a whole book about what you behind the 7 verse, the letters, the order of the letters. Unbelievable. But I took the main one for seeing the connection of the pi, right, and Kabbalah. So, I think this is interesting, and really I try to do it now clear, because before I did it was not so clear. So, I think it is so important to see this, because it is a clear proof that Kabbalah and science are going together, and math. And in fact, as I said with Professor Aralik, we showed very significant tables in which Kabbalah and science come together.